Greetings, B-movie aficionados.
Hello, welcome to A Couple of Flicks. I am Tristan.
I'm Nick.
And I'm Zach.
And today we're going to be discussing some more 90s movies. So
Yeah.
Fun.
oh yeah, definitely. So let's see. The first one. So last time we talked about these, like any 90s movies, one of the films we talked about was Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Next Generation. And so the first film we're going to be talking about is somewhat related to that. And that was your choice, Zach.
Yep. It's Leatherface, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3.
Yes. From, I think, 1990.
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Just barely made it.
Yeah. All right.
Even the streaming one I read it or viewed it on said 89 for some reason.
Oh, really?
Maybe it's 89. I don't remember.
But everywhere, no, it was 90 everywhere else except for the one I usually like Google Play because I had some money on my wallet.
Nice.
So.
Yeah, it was January 90, so maybe it was like a limited release in December or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I wouldn't be surprised if this were a January release. So
Or they did one of those, released it one title and then released it later with another title.
Yeah. And actually, from what I understand, the making of this movie was a bit of a rough experience. So I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, if it doesn't seem like a lot of these Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies had a very good behind the scenes situation.
Yeah.
I mean, even the first one was a nightmare to film, apparently. So
What number was the other one we watched? Generation Star
one
Trek
was
one?
Yeah. Yeah. That was number 4.
So right after this one, okay.
Yeah. So I guess you can go ahead and start, Zach. Where would you like to begin with this one?
I'll read the plot summary. It actually has one, surprisingly. Even though this one seemed very cut and paste.
I'm surprised it has a plot summary because I mean, what was the plot?
I don't know, just like the last one, I guess. Kind of not a lot happens in the middle.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much.
All right, yeah. Leatherface kills a young woman, Gina, and cuts off her face to make it into a mask while Gina's sister Sarah watches from a nearby window.
Yeah.
Sometime later.
During the opening credits, right?
Yeah, usually.
Yeah. Okay.
This one had some of the better gore effects, though, in the beginning at least.
Yeah.
I know a lot of the stuff later on was like off screen.
Yeah, there was some editing issues with this one too, which we can get into, but
that first scene too is one of those cases where I forgot because I remember that girl because she showed like the one that saw the murder. She shows up late. I was like, well, I remember her from the beginning, but I don't know or remember why.
Yeah. Yeah, she pretty much just, her face appears in the window during the opening credits, but like there was no way to tell at the beginning of the movie like what was happening or who the character was that got killed because you only hear her scream and that's it.
Yeah. And was she supposed to be from like 2? I forget what happens in 2, so
this doesn't appear to be related to 2. This seems to take place quite a bit of time later. It seems as though Leatherface is relocated in this one. Yeah,
it's weird because like it seems every sequel to Texas Chainsaw Massacre is a direct sequel.
Yeah. But then every family seems completely different from the last one.
Yeah.
I think during the opening credits they mentioned that the patriarch of the family was the only one that ended up getting arrested, that Leatherface was considered an alter ego of his, but then it said that means that if he wasn't an alter ego, that Leatherface is still at large or something like that. I forget what it said, but
Yeah.
Sometime later, a couple traveling through Texas, obviously.
Yeah.
Michelle and Ryan reached the Last Chance gas station where they meet a hitchhiker named Tex, who's played by Viggo Mortensen.
Yeah. Which shortly before that, there was a little bit, because I guess they're like getting divorced from what I understand, or they're separating or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. But they're still going on a road trip together just to kind of like do their thing, I guess.
Yeah, I was looking away at it for a minute or two, and I, for some reason, thought they were siblings. Even
probably would have actually worked better that way.
It made
honestly.
sense a little later that they were at least at one point a couple or something. Yeah.
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 Maybe they were divorced already, but
I think they're working on things through this road trip or something.
yeah, they're giving things a second go. But at some point though, like shortly before they get to the gas station, there was a little bit where some officers were pulling some corpses out of some kind of muck, which was a little weird. When some of them were dressed in hazmat suits, and anyway,
Yeah.
but that happened. So,
Yeah, thought they were going to do something else with that, but
Then the guy explained it too, because he's like a medical student. He says if they're entombed or in whatever the right way, the body can decompose in a specific way that it is like poisonous.
yeah.
So that's why
and
they're wearing the hazmat suits and all gooey and shit.
and like you said, the effects did look pretty gnarly. So
yeah.
And then there was also a bit with an armadillo, which actually it's sort of an homage to the first film, because there's like one of the first shots in the first film is a dead armadillo, but in this it's like a situation where it's actually kind of foreshadowing for the character, because like the main girl, she goes over to the armadillo to kill it with a rock, and then she's like, oh no, I can't do it, you do it. And so her ex-husband does it instead. But yeah, they made sure to show that specifically because we want to all make it clear that she does experience some character growth later. And anyway.
Yep.
Anyway, all right, sorry, you can go ahead and read the plot.
Are you good? Meet the hitchhiker named Tex and the station's owner, Alfredo. I didn't realize that was his name, but
yeah, neither did I.
Yeah, I didn't know his name at all. Yeah.
A fight soon breaks out between Tex and Alfredo when Tex finds Alfredo spying on Michelle as she uses the station restroom. As Michelle and Ryan flee in their car, they witness Alfredo apparently killing Tex with a shotgun. It didn't seem like that to me, but
yeah, I think the
I
guy
knew
was.
It was all bullshit too. After watching the previous one we watched, I was like, I know what this is.
Yeah,
They're all in cahoots.
yeah.
Yeah.
They Illuminati at this point.
I think these are lower tier. I think this is pre-Illuminati. Because these people don't do a very good job.
No. When Ryan and Michelle become lost, the driver of a large truck throws a dead coyote at their windshield. As Ryan changes the car's flat tire, Leatherface appears and ambushes them, but they manage to drive off unscathed.
Yeah. Although their car gets damaged, he like rips the trunk off or whatever.
Yeah. Bunch of holes.
Yeah.
Afterwards, Michelle, Ryan, and another driver, a survivalist named Benny, crash when a bloodied Tex leaps in front of the car.
Oh yeah, that was confusing.
Yeah.
I
looked away for a split second, and they were already like on the ground and shit. Like,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Viggo was in it for just like a frame or two. That's about it.
Yeah, it's really badly edited at points. So
Yeah. Michelle, Ryan, and Benny decide to find Tex. On the way, Benny discovers a hook-handed man named Tinker. I also didn't catch his name.
Tinker.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Who offers his assistance in setting down road flares. Benny soon
Hmm.
realizes Tinker's real intentions after he finds a damaged chainsaw in the back of his truck.
Yeah.
He flees and encounters Leatherface, but is saved by Sarah, who had earlier escaped Leatherface.
Yeah. One thing that's also kind of cool is that Benny is played by Ken Foray from Dawn of the Dead, and he also played the dad in Kenan and Kel.
I always forget that.
Yeah. But yeah, he's like a survivalist dude. He's pretty cool, you know.
Yeah.
Doesn't get a lot to do, but he's still a cool character. So.
Yeah. And then that girl's just hanging around their house for some reason. I think she explained why, but stupid reason, whatever it was.
Yeah, she must get lost really easily, because she was talking about how she got lost in the woods for 5 days, but I don't know. You'd think if you're that close to the highway. Oh, yeah.
She did explain not to go on the roads because they're watching the roads.
Oh, okay.
So.
Oh, that's
she
right.
Just
I
couldn't
remember.
figure out how to get past them without going on the roads. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, because it was a secret road that Tex led them to. Like, and so when they're driving away, he's like, "Oh, go the Cowboys route. Go the Cowboys route," instead of taking the highway, which didn't really make any sense to me, honestly, because like he refused to go that way up until the point that he got shot. But whatever. I guess they needed to have an excuse for the movie to start. So
yeah. Benny learns that Sarah's entire family was killed and that Leatherface and his family are watching the roads. There we go.
Yeah.
Benny hears Michelle and Ryan calling for him and leaves Sarah. Leatherface kills her with his chainsaw a short time later.
Yeah.
She escaped for so long and then got caught in a trap.
Yeah. Got skewered. Yeah.
Oh yeah, the whole woods are booby trapped.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Yeah, which doesn't actually, it only ends up kind of being a problem once. So, but yeah.
Twice.
Oh yeah.
Well, I mean, they find at least two different traps.
Yeah. Although
but
there's
only
an
a problem once, yeah.
Yeah, but there was an alternate ending where a third one could have been used, but we'll talk about that later.
Oh,
anyway,
okay.
Yeah.
Leatherface then attacks Michelle and Ryan, capturing the latter when he gets caught in a bear trap.
Oh, I forgot about that one too. Yeah, so 3.
Yeah, that was like the only one I could think of for some reason. But anyway, go on.
There's only like one paragraph left. We've kind of covered half the movie already.
Well, there was as the traps. Okay, there was the one that Benny found that just triggered. I was like, oh, not getting caught by that one.
Yeah,
there was that one.
Yeah, there was that one. There was one that the guy gets caught in a bear trap in, and then there was another one I don't even remember. It must have been later on in the movie. We'll get to that, I guess.
Yeah.
Actually, honestly, so this is actually probably when the most stuff starts happening around about this point, right?
Yeah, this is like the halfway mark too.
Yeah. Yeah, the movie takes a long time to get to this point, you know, and this is, I mean, most of the film up to this point is kind of just them running around in the woods. Yeah, Ken Foree gets confused and, you know, learns stuff along the way. His character kind of just learns pretty much everything he's supposed to learn, while the other two characters, like, they spend part of the time passed out because he gave them some medicine that put them to sleep.
Yeah.
Which is
he had a gun too.
Yeah.
But he didn't grab all his ammo because he's an idiot.
Yeah.
Because he was doing Yeah, trying to load it, and then the car, like the truck starts driving on him, but he could have again just grabbed it and ran out the way.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty
He had to
much.
stand right in front of the truck and jump at the last second.
So yeah, I guess we could go about this sentence by sentence if you want.
Sure.
Okay.
Escaping, Michelle locates a house and is captured by Tex, revealed
Yeah.
to be one of the Sawyers, who brings her into the kitchen and introduces her to the already deceased and decomposed grandpa.
Okay. Yeah. So, oh yeah, okay. It does skip a few different things. Okay. So yeah, she shows up at the house and she's kind of like trying to basically find help, and there's like this little girl upstairs who's like crying or whatever, and she's got like a skeleton, like a baby skeleton that she's holding like it's a doll, which is pretty gross. And it turns out she's a member of the family, which is kind of a twisted little thing that this I think this is one of the only Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies that did that. I think they may have also done a remake too, but I don't remember.
Yeah, I think the remake.
Yeah, but I don't think that kid did anything. Like I think that kid actually was like a good guy, whereas this kid is not. Actually, she does something kind of evil at one point in the movie, which it might say in the plot summary, but
yeah, kind of does.
All right.
But Tinker then drags in the badly injured Ryan, whom he and Tex suspend upside down with a pair of meat hooks.
Oh, actually, wait. One thing that was bullshit. He should have gotten killed. Like, okay, when he got caught in the bear trap and then Leatherface showed up with the chainsaw, it sounded like he was getting killed.
Yeah.
Like
it did sound like it.
Yeah. And he was going, oh, and screaming like he was dying.
I thought there was like a close-up of Leatherface with blood splattered on him or something. Maybe that was a different scene, but
yeah, I thought he may have lived to just the way it was edited, because they didn't really show him the way they showed him mowing the girl down. That might be when he got splattered, is when he cut the girl in half on the tree. But this one was weirdly edited. Yeah. So I thought,
and also, yeah. Well, and the other reason I kind of figured he hadn't died is because the main girl, when she was running away, and she didn't seem to give a fuck at all about the fact that Leatherface was killing him. So that was like the other hint. It's like, he's probably not dead. So, but anyway, but they do something kind of pretty gnarly to her. They nail her hands to the chair, which that was new. I don't think they did that in the other Chainsaw movies. So
I don't think so.
Yeah, or at least not in the first two.
Yeah. Reminded me of the scene in the Devil's Rejects.
Yeah. Yeah, that was brutal.
When Leatherface returns home, Tex equips him with a large golden chainsaw. I don't really think it was golden though. Well, I guess the handle was.
Oh, but he said he chromed it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
So we'll just say that. Large chrome chainsaw with the words, "The saw is family," engraved on it.
Yeah. Anyway. I don't know. I thought it was kind of dumb, but whatever.
Yeah. I have an old drawing I did in middle school of Leatherface holding this chainsaw somewhere. The one that says "saw is family."
Yeah. I love the poster of him holding that.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Wish I could find that drawing somewhere.
Oh, I bet it's somewhere. It's probably like on a shelf above something or something.
Yeah.
Somewhere in some basement.
Yep. In the woods, Benny finds Alfredo and apparently kills him.
Oh yeah, he like punches him and he falls into the swamp.
Yeah.
Or the pond or whatever.
The whole swamp thing was weird, but
yeah.
Yeah.
Stupid.
As the family prepare for dinner in the kitchen, the little girl kills Ryan. That's all it says. But
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah. She pulls. So yeah, they're basically all right. So this is kind of the only difference from what I understand, like between the R-rated version and the unrated version, is in the R-rated version it doesn't show who kills the guy, apparently, from what I understand, whereas in the unrated version they do. But like they're basically just about to kill him with the hammer, and then she shows up and says, "Wait, no, stop, not again!" And it's like supposed to psych you out into thinking like she's trying to get them to stop the killing, and she's like, "You told me I was gonna get to do this one." And so then they put her in the chair, and she's like, "All right, I'm gonna do this. 1, 2, 3," and she pulls the string, and it kills her ex-husband. So it's pretty gruesome.
yeah.
Yeah, drops a hammer on his face.
Yeah. Of course, they don't show that, but they show her
No.
like pulling the string. So
Now, Leatherface prepares to kill Michelle as well, but Benny opens fire on the house with an automatic rifle, killing Anne and presumably Tinker.
he gets like he gets like his fingers and his ear blown off, and then also the matriarch, who's like this weird lady with a voice box, she gets shot like 4 or 5 times too.
Yeah, I sounded so dumb.
Yeah.
It was weird. She did not sound intimidating at all. She was like,
No.
"You have to do what mommy tells you to do." She just sounded stupid.
Yeah. Like a really old text to speech kind of.
Yeah. Which actually there was one kind of funny moment. There's a few little funny jokes in this movie here and there where Leatherface is playing alphabet soup on one of those old D-pads.
Oh yeah.
Picture of a clown, and he just kept putting in food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a cheap joke, but it was funny.
Michelle escapes and flees to the woods, pursued by Leatherface, while Benny kills Tex.
That was my favorite part.
Oh yeah, the Chekhov's lighter. There we go.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
Yeah, because the girl from before gave him a lighter when they were smoking smoking some cigs out, just chilling. She said, "You can keep this," and you're like, "Okay, this is gonna come on play later."
Yeah, he gave it to her for 0 reasons.
And she had it for 0 reasons.
Yeah.
Yep. Benny rushes to Michelle's aid, but Leatherface apparently kills him. Oh yeah, this was all in the swamp.
Yeah.
Which is really stupid. Like knocks the chainsaw out of Leatherface's hands, and it somehow is still on and floating at the same time.
That was really dumb.
Yeah.
And it looked like he got killed too when it hit him in the head. Yeah. So like, it's such a cheap. Yeah. Okay. Anyway.
In revenge, Michelle apparently kills Leatherface.
Yeah, this is when the character growth happens, where she couldn't kill the armadillo with the rock earlier in the movie, but then she says, "Sorry, little guy," 3 times for some reason to Leatherface, and kills him with a rock, I guess.
Hits him a bunch. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty hilarious.
Yeah.
And then
she was dragged there by a trap. Like she got set on a trap off. That was one of the traps.
Okay, you see, I totally forgot about that. Yeah, she
I did too.
Yeah, she walked into the string trap, and it pulled her like she was like in the woods in that Van Damme movie, Hard Target.
Or in the next movie too.
Oh yeah, that one.
Who would have thought?
Yeah.
Some random ass shit in common.
Oh yeah, it's hilarious.
Yeah.
All right, and then then the ending. Oh wait, before we get to the ending, so in the alternate ending, the thing that happens after she kills Leatherface, she's walking away, and then Tex shows up, and he's all crispy, burnt up, and he walks into a spike trap and dies. I don't know why they took that out. That would have been awesome.
Probably because it was funny.
I guess so. It was pretty funny, actually.
Is that on the Blu-ray? I'll have to re-put that in.
I'm not sure if it's on the Blu-ray, but I know that it's on the DVD. Because I have the old DVD that had like the 2 different versions on it, and so I watched the unrated version instead of the R-rated version because But from what I understand, though, the unrated version isn't really that much longer. It's only just like less than a minute's difference.
I think the one on the Blu-ray is the unrated one. I don't know what they have streaming, but
yeah.
I did see the girl pull the thing, so
okay.
Yeah.
that means the unrated. Then
Yeah. I think that's like the biggest difference is that scene. So
Okay. All right. As dawn breaks, Michelle reaches the main road before Alfredo's pickup truck, driven by a surviving Benny, stops in front of her. As Benny helps her into the truck, Alfredo appears and attacks him. Benny avoids Alfredo's attacks, and Michelle kills Alfredo before the pair drive away, unaware that a surviving Leatherface is revving his chainsaw some distance away.
Mhm.
And
Menacing.
by the way, yeah, I mean, they have to open it up for a sequel, because that was New Line's goal here was, sorry, there was a bug. That was New Line's goal was to try and restart a new slasher franchise, with this because they somehow got the rights to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. So they wanted to try to do what they were doing with Freddy Krueger and Jason Voorhees. Didn't work so well with this one. Not for lack of trying. It was pretty dumb that Benny comes back with a pretty mild looking cut on his head.
Yeah.
That he got killed with a chainsaw.
I was confused by that. Yeah.
Yeah. That made me so angry. But it was pretty funny though when she shot the Alfredo guy.
Yeah, like pretty
because
much just dropped in place.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, it was funny.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, this barely felt like a horror movie to me. It felt like an action movie, like with Leatherface.
Yeah.
It's pretty much just about like some lady and a survivalist guy having to do battle against the Leatherface clan, and like that's pretty much it. Yeah. So I guess sort of like Hills Have Eyes, I suppose, but not really. I don't know. What would you give it on a scale of 1 to 5 overall?
I think I gave it a 2.5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, it was had some okay moments. I mean, definitely the next one was a lot worse, but
yeah.
Watchable, but not that enjoyable.
Yeah, I think 2.5 is pretty fair. I was not thrilled with it. It had some good gore effects here and there. I liked that it was it was like, kind of bleaker in some ways than the other Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies, just as far as the atmosphere goes and the fact that they're mostly running around in the dark and stuff. I like those aspects. But it was mostly uninteresting until the house stuff, I felt.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gave it a 2.5 as well. Just for basically the same reasons. It was mostly uninteresting, but not bad. And it seemed like all the other Texas Chainsaw Massacres we watched. Besides the Netflix one, I guess that was kind of a departure, but
Yeah. I mean, basically, if you're looking for a Texas Chainsaw Massacre that has the bare basics in it, the cannibalism, the chainsaw deaths, you know, and the crazy messed up family stuff, this film basically has all the check marks. So yeah, it's your basic Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie is what I'd call it. So.
Yep.
Although I will say, I think the trailer is better than the movie. Did you ever see the trailer?
Probably have a while ago, but
It shows like a shot of a lake, right? It's really beautiful. And then Leatherface shows up at the lake. And you only see him from the back. You know, he's just like this big guy with a mullet. And then the lady of the lake, like in the King Arthur legend, throws a chainsaw out of the lake and he catches it in his arms. And then he turns around and it shows that it's Leatherface and it says Leatherface. And that's the trailer.
sounds awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, it's one of
That's
the best
hilarious.
trailers ever. But speaking of naturistic, you know, scenery, let's talk about my movie.
Yeah.
So initially my choice was Meteor Man, but it has been stricken. It's another one of those.
Yeah.
They pulled a what was it? Mannequin. They pulled a mannequin on us. So so I had to go with another choice, Forest Warrior, starring Chuck Norris. I didn't choose it for any particular reason. The only reason I basically chose it was because I remember seeing a clip online, like a long time ago, of like this guy with a chainsaw, like sawing through a tree, and then suddenly the chainsaw stops and he looks up and Chuck Norris is staring him in the eyes. That's literally the only reason I chose this movie, was because I knew that scene was in it. So
Good enough reason, yeah.
yeah, I saw that. I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna read anymore. I just want to watch it. So but I did look at the poster, and honestly the poster is pretty misleading because it makes it look like Chuck Norris is kind of the main character. He's not. It turns out this is not really a Chuck Norris action movie. It's actually more of a an eco-themed family picture, which we've watched a couple of those on this show now. We've watched, what was that, Little Bigfoot?
Little Bigfoot.
Yep, which this movie reminded me very much of, I must say, for reasons that I'm sure, yeah.
Bad lumberjack guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It seemed to be a plot of a lot of 90s children's movies.
Yeah.
Bad lumberjacks.
I'm all for it. I mean, and then also, there was another one we watched, Milk Money. That was also kind of eco-themed as well, wasn't it?
I think so.
Yeah, if memory serves, right? Anyway.
Half of that one's lost on me.
Oh, okay.
I remember the name and it being a
Yeah.
weird movie, but yeah.
Yeah, that was a good one. But all right, so this movie, it follows a scrappy group of kids who, actually, I feel kind of weird saying this, but in the first scene, I actually thought they were all girls, and then like they started talking, and I was like, oh, okay, no, they just, for some reason they were dressed like boys, so I don't know why I thought they were all girls, but only one of them is, and her name is Austina or Austin or something like that. I don't remember. Oh, do you have notes?
Yeah, it was Austin, and I just wrote down that's a weird name.
Yeah, I've never heard that name.
Did you guys catch who the writer was?
Oh no, who's the writer?
Ron Swanson.
Oh my God.
I did see that during the credits, and
Yeah.
I'm like,
Guy,
made me chuckle. Yeah,
I wonder if that's where they got the character name from for Parks and
It
Rec.
had to.
right.
Nah, who knows? But that's hilarious. So yeah, she's kind of the leader of the group, which is kind of interesting. But the movie starts off, there's this dude around this campfire telling this story about this man in the woods who, I guess he was, I don't know, he was trying to protect the forest from like developers or something. I'm not clear exactly, but they kill him.
It was way back when he was
Yeah.
he's trying to save his Indian wife because he was
Okay,
like one
yeah.
of a settler that married an Indian wife and
Yeah.
Came across
That's
them
it.
bad
Killed him?
loggers.
yeah,
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
I
yeah.
think trappers though instead of loggers. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And although he does beat them up before that happens, you know, so you get the typical type of Chuck Norris fight scenes, which aren't as cool as I remembered them being when
Yeah,
I was a
just
kid.
nonstop roundhouse kicks.
Yeah. Yeah. And so like after the story is done, they're all kind of sitting there and then they're kind of leaving. And some of the kids are speculating about whether it's true or not. And then the one girl's like, "Oh, it's so sad." And the other kid's like, "What's sad?" She's like, "He never got to see his wife." And he's like, "Yeah, that's sad." And then he throws coal on the fire.
She holds on to that the whole damn movie.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's pretty annoying. And so, all right, so yeah, so turns out there's a situation in town. The film takes place in a little small town, you know. Long story short, there's land developers who are going to tear down what they call to be a few trees, when in reality it's, you know, the forest. And somebody who I guess has been involved in the town hall for a while is kind of headlining it. In fact, he's more or less like pushing it for it to happen, even though like the land developers are the ones who are sort of, I mean, they're the typical kind of snickering guys in the suits who hang out in the corner going like, "Oh, this is going to be so good. We're going to make so much money," type of thing. And, but then the guy who actually has the connection to the forest, which you later find out, like Chuck Norris already has beef with him before the movie even, or before all that stuff even gets going. He's the one who's really like pushing for it to happen, which I'm guessing has to do with the guilt he feels. I don't know, but we'll get there. So the 5 kids, I know one of them's named Travis. Forgive me for not remembering their names. I think the youngest one was named
I
Travis.
don't remember any of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, either. And there's no Wikipedia for this one.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. Well, they decide to pretty much go back into the forest because they want to, I guess, protect the land, and they figure if they're there, they can maybe it'll somehow persuade the developers from wrecking the place. One
I
thing
thought they were just going camping.
Oh, well, maybe that. I mean, maybe that's what it started off as being, because I was a little confused as to why they were going into the woods, because I wasn't sure if they were going to camp or if they were just going for a hike. The only hint I had was the guy giving them toilet paper, but he only gave them a single roll, which 5 kids in the woods, like you need more than a single roll. So I thought, man, they're probably just going hiking, but I don't know, maybe they were going camping.
That's what I got. Yeah, because they all brought like sleeping bags and shit.
Yeah, you're probably right. I was just ignoring that, I guess. But Austina's Austin's dad was a former officer, and I guess he's an alcoholic or something.
Yeah, random side plot.
Yeah, I mean the film doesn't really spell it out because it's a kids movie, but he slurs his speech and acts weird and uncomfortable. So that's my only guess.
Acts tired. I'm tired.
Yeah. Oh, come on. It's not that bad, like type of thing. But yeah, so all right, so they go into the woods. The Travis kid, maybe it's because of that initiation thing. Well, okay, so the Travis kid kind of falls behind and then he gets freaked out. There's a spooky moment. He shows up. They're in this big fortress. It's like, what is all this? They're looking around. They all get freaked out by something inside of it. They assume it's a monster. Forgive me if I forget anything. I'm trying to get to the good part.
The end.
I mean, the movie takes a while, but all right. So
I mean, there's not a lot to the movie at all. It's
Yeah, there really
Yeah.
isn't. All right, so basically the whole movie. All right, yeah, I don't need to go into the logistics, but basically what ends up happening is the kids end up having to sort of do battle with these developers who more or less kind of are wreaking havoc. Like at one point they blow up part of the fortress. At one point they, actually literally show up to just start buzzing down trees, basically with pretty much no strategy, apparently, because the guys even say at one point, "Oh, let's just start cutting down trees. Let's not wait for him to tell us what to do." I mean, that's how evil these people, the characters in this movie are, is they
Yeah.
just want to cut
They-
down everything.
They dynamite. Yeah, the most like evil part is they dynamite that treehouse with almost
Yeah,
potentially killing children.
right, which leads to a ridiculous detour in the movie that goes on forever. Where everybody thinks the girl is dead, and then the dad has this really epic crying scene where he's like, "Dear God in heaven, no!"
Yeah.
Let's see. Oh, and there's also a part where the kids put potatoes in the exhaust pipes of the developers, and there's all kinds of
Yeah.
stuff.
They do some Home Alone. They do. It's like Home Alone in the woods type shit.
Yeah, exactly. It's pretty incredible, But all of that stuff that I'm talking about, like, I mean, it's probably about 80% of the movie, maybe 75% of the movie, I'd say. But the reason to see this movie, of course, like probably the reason most people are going to see this movie is for Chuck Norris. So let me tell you what he does, ladies and gentlemen. This guy, when this movie refers to him as a spirit, as a forest warrior, they mean he's like a forest spirit, because he can take the shape of a bear, he can take the shape of a wolf, and he can take the shape of an eagle, and he kind of flashes in and out like a ghost. What do you guys think of those effects?
So good.
Yeah.
The eagle one
like-
was my favorite.
Yeah.
Swooping down into a fucking flying leg kick.
That was hysterical. Yes, that's when
Yeah.
they introduce him. The guys show up to start, doing whatever they're doing, and suddenly he swoops down and just starts beating the crap out of them, dressed in this Native American garb, which just doesn't look like it even, like, it looks oversized on Chuck Norris, which is hilarious.
And he's got like a weird half mullet thing going on.
Yeah. he just
Yep.
he looks like the biggest hippie I've ever seen. Like, he looks hippier than any hippie.
They call him hippie a bunch too.
Yeah. That's like his insult. And yeah, if you insult Chuck Norris and call him a hippie, he's not going to take too kindly to it. Basically, he just whoops everybody's ass in this movie. But it's not really very cool, because like he'll roundhouse kick somebody, and instead of it being realistic, they'll just go like flying across the forest. So basically, he's just going around the movie level 99ing everybody. And I guess that I'm gonna guess that's probably why they decided to blow up the fort, was because they thought somehow maybe that would kill him, or maybe they blew it up because it was in their way. Doesn't really say. They're villains. I guess it doesn't matter.
I think they just said the kids would be a problem, and then they catch them say fishing. And, oh, they'll be down there for the rest of the day, but the little kid scrapes his elbow, so they go back early.
Pretty much, yeah. Which, and then so there's a bunch of shit that happens. It's actually probably better to not spoil it, because you kind of have to see it to believe it. Actually, part of the reason it kind of took me a little late to start recording is because I had to rewind it a few times just to rewatch some of the fight scenes, because they were so peculiar. But the best part of the movie, though, is when he talks to the town hall guy and puts him through this guilt trip because he accidentally sets a fire in the forest when he was like years ago, I guess, when he was a kid, maybe even. And Chuck Norris, McKenna, that's Chuck Norris's character's name. McKenna says
Jedediah McKenna.
Yeah, Jedediah McKenna. He says, I stopped that fire because of your neck, or I I stopped that fire that was caused by your negligence and all this stuff. The guy refuses to listen to reason. So Chuck Norris says, all right, well, will you listen to this? And he transforms into a bear. And that was my favorite part of the movie. I laughed so hard at that. That was incredible.
Yeah, scared him straight.
Yeah. And so the guy, he loses his mind and goes insane, and is like talking about how he loves the forest and he is obsessed with bears. And then the movie ends. Okay, so all the kids are all right. They're all high-fiving each other and being all happy, doing whatever they do. Congratulations, you saved the forest. The girl's dad gets his badge back, and then she turns around, and in the light of the woods, she sees Chuck Norris standing next to his wife, smiling at her. And then she's like, yes, they made it. They made it. And the movie ends. I'd have to say my biggest complaint about this movie, why did Chuck Norris make the kids do all the work?
I don't know.
Stupid.
Yeah, he could have done everything apparently.
Just wanted to kick people.
Yeah. I mean, I guess, that's how it goes. But honestly, he could have done a lot more. Like, he could have, like, stopped them in their tracks, like, right at their vehicles. He didn't even have to, like, I don't know. He had to wait for them to practically blow up the forest before he did anything, basically. So, and I don't know. That's not really that much of a hero, to be honest. Not somebody I really look up to. Not gonna lie. But still, I thought it was cool when he did beat everybody up. Even though it was pretty terrible, the fight choreography. So
Usually
in fact, they even tried. What?
They usually are with the Chuck Norris movies.
Yeah, we don't have very good luck with these Chuck Norris movies, but I don't know. We'll keep trying.
Yeah, still plenty of them.
Yeah,
I just got a bunch of them in today on Blu-ray, actually.
Oh, nice.
Good for you. Good for you.
Yeah.
Dude, anytime you're up for some Chuck Norris, I'm all for it. Because I'll watch any of these movies. So I'll watch the worst ones. I'll watch Forest Warrior. That'll tell you everything you need to know. So, but I don't know. Do you guys want to share your thoughts real quick before I kind of give my final thoughts?
Yeah, I wasn't expecting it to be a children's movie either, but definitely expecting a lot more Chuck. Kind of a disappointment, but I mean, so far, pretty much every Chuck Norris movie I've seen is a disappointment.
Yeah.
With all the epic Chuck Norris jokes, you'd expect some better movies from him, but
right. So confused with that. I mean,
yeah, I am too.
I think I made, like, when I was first started this up, like the trailer played and I was like, oh wait, this is a kids movie. I think
Oh no, you're freezing.
Seen it when I was a kid. Possibly on right. Let me go to the internet.
Yeah, no worries. We can try again. Hold on. All right. Sorry. What was that? Oh, yeah. What are your thoughts, Nick?
Okay, I'm on the right internet. Yes. So I think I saw this when I was a kid, just because, like, I remember it a little vaguely. And I like Walker Texas Ranger, I think, when I was a kid as well. So I think we just rented it at one time.
Yeah.
But nice. I don't remember anything other than kind of the kids being a kids movie and shit like that.
Yeah.
But watching it this time, yeah, it was real boring. There was a lot of nature shots and the same fights. It was like Chuck Norris beating the same guys over and over and over poorly. Yeah. Like 1.5, I guess.
Yeah, that's what I gave it. 1.5.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm gonna be generous with this one. You guys think I'm crazy, but I think I'm gonna give it a solid 3. And the reason why, there's a lot of reasons actually. I mean, I didn't expect this to be a kids movie either. I thought it was just gonna be Chuck Norris being like a spiritual Jesus in the woods doing cool stuff. But I was actually pleasantly surprised. Like it had, I mean, I could imagine like it would be pretty dull for it like going in not really knowing what to expect, like, and just kind of getting bombarded by a lot of like long shots of animals just in the woods and kids camping and playing in the river and all this stuff. But
Lots of logging shots too.
oh yeah, lots of logging shots.
Not as good as Little Bigfoot logging shots, though.
That's one thing I will say. Yeah, the logging footage in Little Bigfoot is far superior because those shots were actually like really close, whereas these shots were, I don't know, it was kind of the same shot, but from like again and again. It was just like a side shot of like logs going into a chipper. I mean, it was a cool shot, but it was just one shot. They could have had a little bit more variety. But there were still some decent logging shots. I think this movie was a missed opportunity in many ways. I think they really could have explored the serious like dichotomy between mankind, machinery versus nature, woodland. I feel like there were a lot of little moments here and there where they could have done more. But I like the message. I like the kids. I thought the Chuck Norris stuff was a little stupid, but I thought it was hilarious, and I still enjoyed watching that stuff. Just to laugh at it, really. Some of it was kind of dumb, like the guy falling and going, oh, I mean, I know it's supposed to be a kids movie, but you don't have to have cartoon sound effects and people slipping on banana peels type stuff.
Oh right, and the thing that tied it to the other movie was he got caught in one of those traps with the lock and pulled through the entire forest.
Yeah.
And then off a cliff.
Yeah, that was insane.
It reminded me of have you guys seen Hot Rod?
Yes.
Yeah, it reminded me of that the funniest scene in the movie where he's dancing and then oh shit. And then there's like a 4-minute long scene of him falling down a mountain.
Yeah, no, I love Hot Rod.
Yeah.
Hot Rod's so good.
And then I also like the animal footage, honestly. I thought the bear was cute. I thought there was one shot of these 2 owls, like this big owl and this little owl, and the bigger one's like, ooh, ooh, and then the little one goes, ooh, ooh, and it's like looking around. There's like some personality. You get lots of close-ups of different leaves. I don't know. I liked it. For some reason, it was my cup of tea. I'm
surprised they let the bears near the kids, or that bear near the kids and shit. I don't know. They're petting with it and feeding it and stuff.
Yeah, it must have been either a really well-trained bear or like maybe it was a pet. I don't know. But yeah, I'd have to say, I don't know. I know this is directed by Chuck Norris's brother, I think. Well, and he did Sidekicks with Jonathan Brandis, which I like Jonathan Brandis. I like Chuck Norris. Didn't like Sidekicks whatsoever. This I actually thought was better than Sidekicks. So 3 out of 5 for me.
Still gotta watch Sidekicks.
It's terrible, but I don't know. I'd be willing to give it another shot.
Vinegar Syndrome's putting it out next year.
Oh. All right. Well, looks like we're not done with Chuck Norris then. All right. Do either you have to use the bathroom before we talk about our next movie? Or?
Should be good unless you guys go.
Okay. I know this one's a little bit more of an epic, so I wasn't sure.
I'm all set if you guys are, yeah.
Okay, I think I am. So let's give it a shot.
Okay. And how's my internet sound? Am I choppy or anything?
You seem good.
Tiny bit, but better.
That's what I was wondering, because it does. I feel a little choppy, yeah. But I don't know if there's much I can do at this point.
Okay. Well, we'll try it and see how it goes.
Okay.
All right. So speaking of ecology and protecting the earth and all that stuff, let's talk about your movie.
Tank Girl is the movie I chose. From 95. It's also based on it's based on a comic book, I gather. There's lots of comic book shots in it. There's even animated scenes and stuff.
Yeah,
It's a pretty stylized movie.
definitely. You know, lots of it opens with a Devo song.
Mhm. Apparently Courtney Love did the soundtrack or chose the soundtrack at least to it or something too.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So it starts out with a little exposition that it's in like 2033, the world was destroyed or whatever. It's post-apocalyptic by like a meteor, and it
Yeah.
hasn't rained in like a decade or something. So it's like Mad Max. Water is a currency.
Mhm. It even takes place
Narrated
in
by
Australia, I think, right?
yeah, seems like it. Yeah, I don't think it was shot there, but yeah, takes place there. Yeah, narrated by whatever Tank Girl. They never call her Tank Girl, I noticed. They just call her Rebecca.
Yeah.
They call the other girl, I mean, Jet. I don't know if they say Jet Girl. I think they say at least Jet Girl once, maybe. But her name is also just Jet.
Yep.
Yeah. Definitely a comic book movie. So
Mhm.
yeah. And the main girl played by, I think, Lori Petty from Free Willy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was trying so hard to place her too, because I was like, I know this lady, but it was for me, Orange is the New Black. She's plays one of the characters in that.
Yeah. She's also
Yeah,
in Pauly Shore movie In the Army Now.
I gotta watch that one again.
So yeah, water's the resource they're looking to get. We see them at their little compound. They have like a commune type little base of operations.
Yeah.
We see, I don't know, who the fuck was it? Dennis McDowell. What is it? Malcolm
Oh,
McDowell?
Malcolm McDowell, yeah.
Yeah,
He's the villain.
he's the villain. He's
Perfect for this one.
Oh yeah.
yeah,
Always does the best villains.
yeah. Some intro with him. They have to get some. I think it's the compound they're gonna target, and he kills his main henchman with some weapon that drains the water out of people.
Yeah. It's pretty gross, actually.
Yeah.
And then he drinks it.
Yeah. See the skin go down to the bone. It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, this was like one of those R-rated, adult comic book movies, swearing and shit.
Yeah. Yeah. There's what's that girl, she calls that one guy a butt smear, and then I forget what the line says, but she says something like, don't use the word butt smear, call him dickwad or something.
Yeah.
Call him asshole or dickwad.
Yeah, it's funny. Yeah, there was some good raunchy humor in this one. So, and I saw this when I was pretty young too, so I remembered it being pretty raunchy. But like even as an adult, there were some pretty raunchy, like whoa, type of bits here and there.
Yep. So it kicks off basically the plot with the Water and Power is the bad corporation. That's the name of the bad corporation. They attack their compound because they were siphoning water off of them. They kill everyone basically and kidnap a little girl that's there.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, they take Tank Girl hostage as well. And they keep her alive for some reason, even though she like murders a dude in the airplane.
Dude, she kills like 7 guys right when they show up. She starts shooting everybody. And also like I think that girl, it's either her adoptive daughter or like just or maybe it was just her actual daughter. It's not clear what the relationship between her and the little girl is, but it's clear that there's like it's a familial type of relationship almost, though, or something like that, like a guardianship.
Yeah, the whole plot of the movie is basically to get her back.
Yeah.
So yeah, the tank girl gets captured, put in a prison camp.
Yeah, there was one moment where she goes to take a shower and it's like a bunch of sand stuff, like
Right.
and the Portishead song, what was it, Roads, is playing during that scene. Yeah, there was a lot of great music in this movie. A couple Bjork songs, and yeah, Joan Jett.
Yeah, I guess Courtney Love. Yeah,
Yeah, she
thank
knows her
her for
stuff.
that.
There was a whole song by like in this movie too, I believe, at one point. So
Ice
yeah.
T, Ice T.
Oh yeah, Ice-T gets in there too. Yeah, there's even a song by Stomp. Speaking of 90s, there's a Stomp song. You guys remember Stomp? Having to watch that stupid crap in music.
Yeah,
class.
yeah. Oh, that's fucking funny. Yeah.
Yeah, I think out of all the movies we watched, this might be the most 90s, but possibly,
Yeah.
Yeah, she even looked a lot like what's her face? The tank girl. I thought like it just looked like what's that girl from that band, that 90s band?
Oh, which one? Are you talking about Cranberries or?
No. It was shit. Gwen Stefani.
Oh
Or
yeah,
something.
Yeah.
She looked a lot like her.
I didn't even think about that. Yeah. The only other guess I was going to think of was Joan Osborne. Giant like nose ring or whatever. What if God was one of us?
Oh god. Oh yeah, there was that dust shower scene, which was weird as hell.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and even there's another little side faction too that I forgot to mention of the Rippers. They were brought up early on.
Yeah.
They like she calls them demons, mutant, like they're inhuman mutants is the guess. We don't really see them until basically where we are now is they're the Water and Powers, one of their stations gets attacked by them. So for whatever reason, they think Tank Girl can help out for some reason. I don't know why they keep thinking she's a helpful person. She hasn't really done much but kill a bunch of their own dudes.
Yeah, they basically just want to use her as bait, like, because up to this point in the movie, like, I mean, you find out about the Rippers during like the opening narration, but they don't really become a problem up until this point. Like mostly all that's happened throughout the film up to now is like you find like dead bodies of people that they've ripped up and all that stuff. But this is when they actually do something, basically, is the scene, this part.
Yeah, so they use her as like bait. Basically, they tell her that she's gonna go into their den or something, like go into a pothole or some sort. They even place a tracker on her.
Yeah.
So she can't run away or something, but all hell just breaks loose immediately anyways. They ambush everyone. She just basically hides and all the Water and Power people are dead, and including possibly Malcolm McDowell or whatever.
Yeah, she finds his arm. She stomps on it, calls him a butthead.
Yeah.
Which makes sense because earlier in the movie, actually one thing that should probably be mentioned, he tortures her in like this weird pipe thing where he like drops her into like this real tiny, like claustrophobic little space. And later on in the movie, he uses it again, like toward the end to another character. But but like she already had beef with him before that because he was the one that kidnapped her in the first place, or took her into the slave mines to do whatever. But yeah, like yeah, she finds his severed arm at least. So
Yep. And then the jet girl shows up. She, I don't know, hijacked a jet to help out Tank
yeah.
Girl.
Yeah, she is actually kind of a they kind of up to this point have sort of had like sort of a, what do you call it, like a shaky friendship, because like when they first like meet, it's kind of because one of the henchmen is macking on her and getting all aggressive, and so like Tank Girl kind of sticks up for her by like pretending that she's her lover or whatever. So that kind of starts that whole thing, but there's some tension between them because she's the one who's like basically the mechanic there in charge of the machinery and stuff, because she's the only one who kind of knows how it all works. And the Tank Girl is obsessed with trying to get away with this particular tank, but it's non-functional according to the Jet character, who's played by Naomi Watts, by the way, which is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Can open the door.
Yep.
Sorry, my cat was pawing at the door. Go on.
Okay, yeah, they get away. And I don't know how they got to this point, but they found some other girl. I don't know where they land, like where they were going, but they eventually they land in some, what I read her name was like Submarine Girl, so she might be some person in the comics, like the lady that they used, that Jet had a lie detector they used on her and stuff.
Yeah. I think, yeah, because I think Jet was either familiar with her hideout or the Tank Girl was. I don't remember exactly.
Yeah, and it's like a garage as well, because they soup up their vehicles. The tanks all after a big old montage was, yeah, the tank's all cool and kind of has like a mind of its own as well. She can like whistle to it and it'll come to her and self-drive and stuff throughout the rest of the movie. And we also, that lady tells them where the little girl is now at this weird spot. Now I didn't see this coming at all. This next town they go to, like it's like Silver something, I don't know what the exact town name was, like Silver Waters or something random.
Yeah. Silver Palace, I don't even remember exactly, but yeah, Silver something.
Yeah, she's apparently a worker there, and when they get there, it's apparently some type of like strip club / brothel of the future. And well, there's a little dress montage too with Tank Girl. She gets in a bunch of different dresses, but
yeah, like she shows up kind of to infiltrate, and yeah, it kind of randomly decides to turn into Spice World for some reason.
Yeah.
Although it's kind of weird though, because while that's happening, like the little girl is also, she fends off this one predator dude who, like earlier in the movie, she got like a metal weapon ball thing from the Tank Girl, who, like, which I think she took it off of like a dead body of like one of the Rippers left behind. And so then she gives it to the little girl. That happens like really early on in the movie. It's like a real brief bit, but yeah, that comes into play at this point, because I think it was Iggy Pop is the guy who's trying to, yeah, which I thought was pretty. It was funny.
Weird. Yeah. Quite. Yeah, it was quite disturbing because like the brothel, what do they call them, Madame? Like the head lady that, she's okays it. She's like, yeah, give him a little girl. She's old enough to learn now. but she was like
Yeah.
10 years old and shit. So I was like, whoa, this is dark as fuck.
Yeah, it's a bleak future. You know, this crazy
Yeah.
fashion model, strip club, brothel selling child prostitutes. I mean, it's a dark movie in certain ways. Although it's mostly played for comedy. It's mostly like a comedic, upbeat kind of thing too. Like
Yeah.
which is kind of is
Tank,
yeah, it's an unusual sort of mixture. So,
yeah, Tank Girl is very like Harley Quinn, like has
yeah.
that snappy kind of fast pace. Even just like, I don't know, she reminded me a lot of Harley Quinn, but she kind of grated on me too, because some of it wasn't that funny and just annoying and shit like that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, and actually, admittedly, this is probably my least favorite part of the movie too, because this is when they decide to throw in a musical number as well.
Yeah, so that's where, yeah, I was just about to say, yeah, they
Yeah.
save the little girl and
Briefly.
yeah, and then do a dance, like this big ass showgirls dance.
Yeah. Which, I mean, I remember because I remember when I saw this movie when I was younger, and I thought that it was pretty unusual then. I didn't really understand that scene at all when I was a kid, and I still don't understand it. So she just makes her sing that song "Let's Do It" by I can't remember, but yeah.
Cole Porter.
No, Cole Porter, that's it. Yeah. Yeah, she even says Cole Porter, 1928. Whatever.
Oh, and okay, so we're also seeing that McDowell's still alive as well. He's like in some surgery operating or thing, a face mask, but his arm got replaced with a robot arm. And James Hong, he shows up for a brief little cameo as one of the doctors to fix him up.
Yeah. And of course, Malcolm McDowell, like, even though these surgeons and all these people like gave him this holographic surgery type of thing. Well, I mean, I guess I'm kind of spoiling the ending, but sorry. Well, I apologize. But even though they give him this like stuff, he still kills them, doesn't he? Or he kills at least one of them.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. He just does what he wants. He just kills everyone.
Yeah, I mean,
just wants that water.
Yep.
Yeah, he's just a greedy water guy who just takes water from everybody and even takes water from people's bodies, He's just, as evil gets is the way this guy is. There's even a scene near the beginning of the movie where there's screens of these high-tech maps that have all these detailed locations of where there's water left. And he just breaks them. Like, he just smashes them with his hand.
Yeah. And he forces his henchmen to walk barefoot on the glass.
Yeah. And then criticizes him and calls him an idiot for doing it. But then he proceeds to do it. So it's like, yeah, this guy's just nuts. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So after the dance number, that little girl gets stolen by the water and power people. So you're kind of figuring out, these water and power people, they're always one step ahead for some reason.
Yeah. Kind of like, there must be a twist coming. I smell a twist.
Right. I forget exactly how it happens, but Jet Girl and Tank Girl end up in the Ripper's lair.
They get kidnapped. I think it's in the midst of getting back to their vehicle. Like, after that whole thing, they're gonna like head back to the tank, and then that's when that happens, because I think they figured out where they were going or whatever. I don't know exactly but I know that they did kind of explain what it was happening. It's just before they could really even do anything, they get kidnapped. So they like sink into the ground, I think, from what I recall. So.
And then we finally see the Ripper, because we did get to see him a couple times, but they were in like suits of armor and shit. but now we
Yeah.
see it, it's bizarre looking.
Yeah, they look.
It remind me of like small soldiers, you know, those little dudes.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the
Gorgonites.
Gorgonites. I knew it was like a
Remind me of those,
Gorgon something. Gorgonites. Yeah.
or just like straight up Planet of the Apes type, like the '90s one, aesthetic, like aesthetically looking. But they were like, I thought they were dogs at first, but then I was like, wait, this takes. Then they mentioned they were like their backstory is that they were humans spliced with kangaroo DNA because they thought they were going to be some type of superhuman fighters. But then it didn't work, so they just killed them all, and they rebelled. And that's the story of the Rippers. So they're actually good guys.
Yeah. Which, you know, it's pretty cool actually, because up to that point they actually did seem like what could have potentially been a serious threat. And even after they show up at the Rippers hideout, they're still, I mean, it's possible they could still be a threat at first anyway. I was gonna say they look kind of like the martial arts kangaroos in Warriors of Virtue is what I think they look like. Which is a movie I've thought about choosing for this show, but haven't yet. So, but watch out, I might. But
I don't remember where or when it happens, but they both girls like fall, or at least Tank Girl starts dating one of these kangaroo boys. They straight up bone.
Yeah. I mean, it's at first like when they show up at the hideout, the kangaroo guys want to know who they are, and it's like, what are you guys doing here? What is it? And they give them some nitrous to make them talk. And then then what ends up happening is they go on assignment at some point. Like they send the two girls on assignment to take pictures of the hardware that they have over there. And somewhere in between, in the midst of all this, I think it's after they get back, once the kangaroo Ripper folks find out that these girls are actually, you know, worth a damn, that's when they start to bond. And that's when Tank Girl starts falling in love with the one guy. They become an item. So
Yeah, they're in bed and she has those like those missile tits.
yeah, she's wearing giant missiles on her boobs, which the film doesn't explain, but you know, it's in the movie.
I think it's a comic thing. I think it's in the comics, I assume too.
Yeah, that's my guess as well, because it's a reoccurring image in the animated parts, I feel like. Yeah. But anyway.
So yeah, there's that plot to, you know, win the motors. Like they're trying to get weapons, trying to steal weapons is what the whole thing is, and it goes awry. So they have to go off the books, and they steal the weapons with a climactic ending of, you know, the truck almost falling off a ledge. But they get the weapons and they realize that it's all empty. All the weapons, there's like no weapons in them. They've been had again. They knew. Water and Power knew somehow again.
Yeah. And not only that, but they also find their creator in one of the crates too.
Yep. And that sends the kangaroo boys into a rage. They find the creator of them, their daddies, basically. Whatever the hell that is. Yeah.
And so that's when they start basically doing a funeral dance, I guess, for lack of a better word.
Was that when it happened? There was a dance, another weird ass dancing with them. Yeah.
I think that was when it happened.
Okay. Yeah.
There was a lot of stuff that happened, so it kind of gets a little confusing here and there, but I'm pretty sure that was why they were doing that.
And then this basically just devolves into a final act of any action movie. They go in and attack the Water and Power people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and there's a sad moment where the dude, the one kangaroo guy who up to that point, he was sort of their leader, I guess. I mean, he was sort of the sage, I guess, of the group. I mean, all the kangaroo characters have somewhat distinct personalities. Like, unfortunately, they get kind of introduced too late into the movie for for the audience to really bond with any of them. But they do have personalities.
One's just iced tea.
Yeah, one is essentially just iced tea in kangaroo form.
Yeah, and she even like I don't know how long SVU's been going on, but like she did ask Ice-T's character, like Ice-T's character was named T Saint as well. So it's like, all right.
Yo, T Saint. Yeah.
She asked him, what were you before you were turned into Ripper? He's like, I was a cop.
Love it.
Yeah.
But yeah, their sage leader ends up getting killed, sadly.
Yep. Oh, and she flies, like, so they have like a plan how they're doing it. They fly in with the jet girl, but tank girl goes solo, but she's like on a paraglider following her jet thing, and that's when we get the Ice-T song playing. Like, of course we get, I don't know.
Yeah, it was a good song though.
Yeah, it was a banger. There we go. Yeah.
Lots of bangers.
The attack's going down. They put the little girl, McDowell puts the little girl in the pipe and slowly puts water in, puts a little trickle of water in, so she's, there's a time limit before she drowns.
Of course there had to be a time limit. He couldn't just drown the girl.
Yeah. And again, so we're getting to the end part is so up in like from when McDowell almost dies to this point, like we see him walking around a bunch, but his face is always obscured and hidden for some reason. So I thought it would be like a messed up face or something, but when it's revealed, it's like no big deal. It's just McDowell.
Yeah, or so we think.
Or so we think, right? Like, but it didn't, like, it still wasn't like, it was like the twist is like that he's a hologram of some sort, I think. I don't know. I don't know exactly how he works, because she can't hit him, but he can punch back. Like he's corporeal, but she can't punch through him and stuff. And
yeah, he's using cheat codes.
Yeah, straight up. I don't get it.
Yeah.
And the face of it, like, yeah, it was like supposed to be a face reveal of this hologram thing, but like they didn't change his face, because he does show up a bunch throughout that, but like in the shadows, or his head was turned and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it was like, oh, is his face messed up? Because they did mention that when he was on the operating table. It was like, oh, your face will never be the same, or something like that. Thinking some Darth Vader type shit might occur, but no.
Not quite. Yeah.
Hologram malarkey that didn't make any sense.
Yeah, but somehow she managed to exploit his weakness somehow.
Yeah, so she gets in the tank, because the tank just shows up because she called it like 5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
And it finally busts through the walls, and she starts shooting beer cans at him. I thought that was funny.
That was funny.
But he's blocking it with his mechanical arm, and then so she just aims up and hits just a randomly dangling bucket of water over his head.
Yeah, that's great.
Like, why was that bucket of water there?
I don't know. I had
Convenience.
No clue. Yeah, I guess so. He had too much water.
Yeah.
That was the villain's problem. He had too much water. And he just put
turns
buckets.
Out. Yeah. And it turns out that's his weakness, is like malfunctions his circuitry and shit. And then she stabs him with the water extracting from people device as well, which I didn't, again, I mean, I guess maybe his body was his body. I don't know.
Yeah, what
And
does it
just his,
suck out
and just
holographic
his head
water?
was all, I was like, what the fuck is going on here?
I don't know.
It's all
It felt
falling
weird.
apart in the last 2 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah. But it still ends with a cool little montage, I guess. I mean, it basically is over at this point, more or less.
Yeah, it's over. They save the girl, defeat the bad guys.
Mm-hmm.
We get to see a cool little animated scene that leads us to the credits.
Yeah. Yeah, Naomi Watts keeps getting hurt.
With her greasy ass hair.
Yeah. And that was also kind of the twist, was that like there was some kind of
Oh right, the other twist was the reason why. Yeah, they were one step ahead the whole time was because, well, it was like a brief twist. It's like, oh, Jet Girl's a betrayer. No, we had you bugged the whole time. From, I'm assuming that those tracer bullets that were shot into her way back when, so they could, yeah, she was basically a bug for the whole time, like she was bugged, yeah.
So that's the twist, I mean, I saw it coming, but oh well.
I didn't even really notice. I just thought it was typical bad guys pulling the upper hand, making the movie go.
I think they actually I feel like they accidentally spoiled it near the beginning of the movie, or not near the
I
beginning.
think they,
yeah, go on.
yeah, I think they do too. I think they like are listening in on some conversation at one point with them.
Yeah, I just don't remember when, but I do know that happens at one point. So, but yeah, so that's Tank Girl.
Yeah, not bad.
Yeah.
Better than I was expecting.
Yeah, definitely better than people gave it credit for at the time, I would say. I think it wasn't very critically well liked. So, but I don't know. I know, and I do know that it was like a pretty big budget movie too. So maybe like it's like the type of thing where people are like, "Oh, what a waste of money," blah, 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 like type of stuff. So
yeah, it was 25 million.
That's pretty big for the 90s, for the mid 90s in particular. 97, you said?
95?
95.
Oh, maybe 95. So pre-Titanic. I mean, yeah, that's pretty big. So,
And a comic book movie too.
Yeah. So
only made 6 million.
yeah, it's a pretty big
Rough.
flop. Yeah, it's a hard sell. Or at least it was at the time. Maybe it wouldn't be these days, but I don't know.
Yeah, I'd say it's worth a watch if you're bored. It's like, yeah, it's like basically Harley Quinn and Mad Max setting.
Yeah.
Without the Joker, Batman shit.
Yeah.
And if you like, yeah, some all right stuff.
Yeah. I think yeah, it's, I mean, I've watched this movie at least a few times. It was a movie I watched at least more than once when I was a kid, because it was one of the only movies that both my sister and I could actually like agree on and both enjoy, because she liked this movie a lot too. Most of the movies I watched, she would usually just walk out of like before. She didn't like most of my movies, but yeah, for some reason this is one that like she and I really bonded over. So I don't know, I kind of love it actually, in a way. Like, even though it is kind of,
It is a strong pro female type movie with badass ladies kicking ass and shit.
Yeah, definitely has some feminist themes that I can appreciate here and there that are, pretty cool for the time. Like, and I don't know, I think in some ways this movie is actually more interesting than a lot of like comic book movies that come out today. Like, I mean, there's definitely problems with it, but I feel like I don't know, I like the practical effects. I like that it doesn't have all the CGI stuff. I like that it's just, I don't know, it just has its own little style. which I feel like maybe people have kind of taken influence from since then, or maybe evolved since the movie came out. But I don't know, it was pretty cool for the time, I would imagine. So. Yeah. What about you, Zach? What do you think of it?
That was enjoyable. I liked how 90s it was.
Yeah.
It's got that weird, that I don't know, that weird type of humor that was only in the 90s.
Mhm.
Yeah, definitely.
So I gave it a 3.
Right. Yeah, I'll give it like a 3. Yeah, 3 sounds good.
Yeah.
As much as I complained about the main character, she was kind of funny and interesting and badass.
Yeah. She definitely had an exasperating type of wit that, like, I could imagine if people didn't enjoy that type of thing, like, this movie would probably get pretty old after a while, I'd give it probably a 3 as well, maybe even a 4. I don't know. I'd have to kind of consider it, but I think it's pretty good actually still.
I'll bump mine
Although,
up to 3.5.
yeah,
All right.
yeah. Cool. Yeah. I could have used a sex scene, I think, between her and the kangaroo. I don't know why. I just feel like this movie could have used that. Something about it just would have felt right for some reason.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure it would have been gross, but still, I mean, we got to make their relationship believable somehow. We gotta see the beauty of their connections. So,
It could have made it comedic enough to work.
Yeah.
oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, but oh well, maybe in the remake. All right. Well, I guess that just about does it for these 90s pictures. So it is October, which means Halloween is somewhere in this month, right? Last time I checked.
Yeah.
So do you guys want to choose some Halloween movies to talk about next time?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Who wants to go first?
I can go.
Okay.
So mine's not necessarily Halloween, but a haunted attraction movie. House of Horrors, Gates of Hell.
Excellent. That's a badass title.
Oh, interesting. Because I remember you mentioned that, and I thought you were going to choose one that I might choose, but we'll see. What did you choose, Tristan?
Oh, I chose Cemetery of Terror.
Okay.
I think it's I want to say it's like a Spanish movie, something like that. I'm not sure, but I'm choosing that one.
Okay. I just wrote down a bunch. I don't know which one I should choose now.
Oh, okay.
This was yeah, let me look one up real quick. Because one came out not too long ago. The one I was thinking that you were, because you mentioned attractions, Hellfest.
Oh yeah.
That came out not that long ago. I was thinking about that one. Did you see that one or?
I've seen Hellfest, yeah.
I have not.
Okay. So I was more leaning towards. It has the same vibe. Shit, which one was it now? I wrote all these fucking ones. I wrote them down. I think it was this one. Night of the Demons. Yeah, that's 88.
88 one. Okay. Yeah, there was a couple.
Oh, really?
I think one's a remake.
I think so, yeah. But yeah, that sounds good. Night of the Demons, 88.
Oh, there's a remake too. Which one now? That's another decision. If it has the same plot, I guess. Did you see either of them?
I haven't.
I haven't seen any of them either.
Then I'll choose the remake.
birthday.
Ni-
like-
09. Nice.
09.
Because it does have the same. Okay, yeah, they go to a Halloween party thing. Yeah, so
Nice. All right, well, let's get demonic. Can't wait. That sounds cool. Night of the Demons.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. And I think I forget what year mine was made. I didn't even look actually. It might have been the 70s. I think it's the 80s.
85.
I think it might be that.
So Ruben Galindo Jr.
Possibly. Does it have the word Halloween in the plot summary?
Just a second.
Okay. 'Cause
what was your pick?
Cemetery of Terror.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, cool. And then, wait, what the hell was yours? Demon Knights or Demon something?
Night of the Demons.
Oh, yeah, no, yours was Night of the Demon, but what's your horror house horror night? Is that what it was called?
House of Horrors, Gates of Hell.
Oh, that's okay. I was way off. House of Horrors, Gates of Hell. Got it. All right.
And yeah, Cemetery of Terror does say Halloween in the description.
Cool. All right, yeah, whichever one that is, that's the one I'm choosing. So,
It's another one Vinegar Syndrome put out.
oh, excellent. All right, good.
Nice.
Well, sweet. Then this could be all kinds. This could be anything. It could be either it could be Deadly Games, or it could be an Ice Cream Man. It's a real roll of the dice. Oh,
a gem or a pile of shit.
yeah. You never quite know it's Vinegar Syndrome. You know, they did do that New Year's Evil movie after all. So. All right. Oh no, not New Year's Evil. Bloody New Year.
Oh yeah.
That was what it was called. All right, cool. Well, I think our brains are fried, so let's call it a night. Have a good night, everybody.
Yeah, have a good one.
See ya.